Check, Mike. Hello, everybody. How you guys doing? Just let me know if you can't hear me. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. I'm Phil Rice. Welcome to the Phil Rice YouTube channel. I'm just throwing up a live stream to say, hey, what's happening? I've got a bunch of stuff to talk about in relation to Hermetics practice, and also, I guess I just wanted to put this on. Because I obviously do a lot of interviews and things, which wasn't actually the primary sort of initiator for this channel. I used to do interviews years ago, but I've got something to share as well, and so I really wanted to just give myself a bit of a kick, because it's actually quite easy to sort of like get other people on and then just sort of like run a show and talk to them and give them a nudge and a probe and ask them questions and have a nice dialogue and discussion and things. That's pretty easy and fun to do. But, putting yourself in front of the camera and doing, regular sorts of things is obviously important too. So, I want to do more of this. Like I said, the original intention of the channel was to sort of put myself out there a bit more. I've got some things to share. I've got a bit of a knowledge base on certain topics and practices. So, I just wanted to say, what's up, everyone? Welcome to a very informal, fun. It's a frosty morning hangout here in Howick, Auckland, New Zealand, down the bottom of the planet, or it's at the top of the planet. Who decided what was north and what was south and what was up and what was down, right? But yeah, thanks everyone for coming along. I'm just having coffee. I got a list of stuff here, and I got some stuff to share with you guys, some stuff to talk about. I've got one thing I used to do from time to time was run a meme stream. I'd do like a 20-minute, 30-minute segment on memes, and would just hang out and just watch some memes. And so over the years, I've been sort of collecting, spiritual and sort of esoteric memes and things, because I think having a chuckle is important, right? Things are getting pretty serious and dire out there, depending on what you watch and who you listen to. So, let's have some fun, right? Now, hopefully, oh, here we go. That's the bottom. I love it. First of all, I'm just going to do some shout outs and stuff, because, hey, you guys are sort of like, if I didn't have anyone listening to me and watching me and stuff, it'd probably be a bit lonely. We used to say when I was a muso, an empty room. If you go and play a gig with the band or even by yourself and there's no one there to listen to, we used to call it a paid rehearsal. Wasn't that great for the soul, but you just did it anyway. You're getting paid, and the bar staff were always good hangouts. All right, but anyway, cheers, guys. And I'm just going to go through and do some stuff here. So first of all, you may have noticed in one of my other podcasts, I mentioned that YouTube have activated some goodies for basically me being able to monetize the channel. So for those of you that find value in what I do and don't want to go externally, because I've got a Substack where you can subscribe and pay a monthly sort of subscription for services. I haven't really created any exclusive content, but what I'm doing is I'm just putting it out there and saying, some of you guys have said, hey man, we love what you do. And I'm like, okay, well, here's the thing, like if it's something that interests you, here's an avenue for you to, say, hey man, thanks bro, this is great, I love what you do. Here's a couple of bucks. That's cool. Groceries, utilities, save up for a new laptop, stuff like that. So yeah, anyway, so that option's there, guys. And I've actually had my first ever super chat come up. Woohoo! Thank you, Will. $10. That's a couple of coffees or another bag of organic basmati rice. Ooh. Or maybe some mustard oil. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Will. Will's a regular on the show here, so I'm very grateful to you, Will. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it, man. What else we got? So yeah, Will, cheers, bro. I really appreciate that. And you're the first one to do a super chat. So kudos to you, my bro. Thank you so much. Now, I don't know how to pronounce this name. Himmelscheiber Nebra. Am I close? Tell me if I'm close. Yes, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Hello, Simon. Hello, Simon. Yes, I see you're doing a bit of posting on the on the Facebook, and you've done a bit of a social media fast, I believe, as well. Well done. It's a good practice, man. I try and get a good sort of day once a week where I just don't. And yeah, I don't think we realize just how impactful this stuff is on our lives. You know, when we're constantly got the phone or the tablet or the machine around. I've got to say, I really enjoy getting back into using the computer. I had a bit of a break from doing stuff on the computer. I used to do everything on the phone, and I really appreciate the creative potential that the like a desktop machine offers over a phone. You know, the phones can do a lot, but it doesn't have the breadth and the range that you can do with the powerful desktop machine, even a laptop. Mr. Anderson, how are you, bro? Great to see you. Thank you. What's it like down in Wellies, mate? Is it chilly down there? I bet it's chilly. It's fine up here. Oh my gosh, I've just been out in the grass doing having a bit of a stretch and meditating and all that sort of thing. And I've got to say, pretty chilly on the feet, but beauty nonetheless. Very blessed to have a bit of bush out the back here. Okay, so New Zealand's at the bottom, is it? Well, you know, if you look at the map, there's definitely more up the top of the planet. Blessings to you also. Yes, Heather, absolutely. Coffee is good. I've been holding it. I haven't had a sip of it yet. Let's see what it's tasting like. I like to bring my coffee into my practice. I like to bring as much as I can into my practice and my practice into my things. And I have to say, just sniffing the coffee. I'm drinking black coffee at the moment. That's pretty good. It's not bad. Ding! All right, now you're getting full nitro fill. Oh, you like the scarf? Sorry, hopefully I didn't just yell into the microphone. Yes, my niece gave it to me, actually. I'm normally just like wearing solid colors. You'll hardly ever see me wear like a logo or a print or anything. I just like, I don't know. I used to wear band t-shirts back in the day, but yeah, this one's pretty. It's actually, I'm just wearing it because it's warm, and my other one's getting a bit old. So yeah, it's got lots of symbols and things on it, so it's functional. So, you know, if it's aesthetically interesting, awesome. Very close. Awesome. Thanks. I'm getting a bit of Himmelschreiber. Simon, absolutely, bro. I do pay attention, and I appreciate that you're putting things up. And just want to say, you know, like if you're on social media and you're starting to get your feet wet with public posting on things, because some people obviously will scroll and watch and comment and things and put the odd post up. But I see some of you guys and girls and, you know, starting to enter into the realm of sharing your teachings, your wisdoms, and even just yourself and your life. And that's, trust me, that's valuable. There's people out there that want to hear what you have to say and want to hear your take on stuff. And that's what I'm doing here. You know, I'm sort of in my mid to late 40s, and I like meditation and hermetics and magic and qigong and Reiki. I'm a healer, energy healer. And, you know, I've worked with kids and adults as a music teacher. I've worked in schools, and I've worked in corporate and on help desk sort of type things, customer support. I like helping people out, you know, and it's really enjoyable. So, you know, if you're thinking about it, just jump on YouTube, man. Great place to start. And yeah, you can just jump on and be yourself. Live streams are the best. I can just show up. I don't have to make videos and edit them and stuff. It's not the kind of person I am. I you know, being a muso, like a lazy guitarist, which is not quite correct. You just jump up on the stage, or as a singer, and you start singing. Live streams are great. Here I am. Here we are. We're hanging out. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I got to say, I've lived in Wellington, and Wellington it's got a cold like Auckland can't appreciate, and Auckland's got stuff going on that Wellington you only know if you live in these places, to be fair. But oh, thank you, Heather. Yes, those egregores videos, there's a few of them now with Bob and Mark, and you know, I'm sure that there's others that will have conversation on that too. It's definitely a worthwhile topic to explore. mainly because it doesn't get a lot of air. And it's funny actually because I heard Damien Eccles speak about this a while back, and he's the same. He's like, man, nobody's talking about egregores, and pardon me, or egregores. But they're so important, especially for us meditative and practitioners, empaths, psychics, anyone that's into qigong or empathy building, these types of things. If you're wondering why, you're trying to identify influences because you're essentially trying to free yourself from them. You don't want to be driven by other things. You want to be driven by yourself, basically, and by the most refined version of yourself, really. Well, I mean, that's what I'm coming across as the best way to go. You can be driven by patterns and, things you've picked up from parents and institutions and all that. And for better or for worse, some are great, some are not so great. But finding your true self, I mean, it's funny, actually. Here's this Reiki book from Franz Steiner, and it nails it. Rediscovering your true self via the vital force and methods to refine the vital force. Black and white polarity mirror scarf. Oh, dig it. Actually, is it? Let's have a look. Is it the same on the back? So if I take this image here and then I turn it over, oh my gosh, I didn't even notice that. I didn't notice that. Thank you, Spectra. Warmer than Gore. And I just want to say to the audience, for those of you who aren't aware what Gore is in the South Island of New Zealand, and it's a place. Okay. We're not thinking about, I can't remember the name of it in Star Wars. I think it's The Empire Strikes Back when they lose Luke and Han Solo slices open the animal and the gore comes out and keeps them warm. Yeah. So related, unrelated. A Zen Tangle scarf. Love it. Okay. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah. So what else do I need to do? Oh, yes. Thanks to Violet Flame Studios. You guys are flipping awesome. I feel very blessed to have met the people involved in this project. I'm learning so much. These are some of the, not only am I making great friends with good quality people here, driven people, but these people, John and the team are they're just really elite, high quality operators, man. I mean, if you've been watching any of the videos I've been sharing, or if you've signed up with Violet Flame Studios.co.nz and checked out their gallery, or getting the newsletter. Oh yeah, so this is the newsletter here. So this is a great thing to do because you get exclusive look-ins to what's happening, and check it out. It's really cool, man. They've just dropped a newsletter and it's got a video in it, and I've got to say that it's like anything. It's like my production level, carries on upgrading, and definitely want to sign up. I'll put here it is here. Go to violetflamestudios.co.nz/subscribe /, and you'll get exclusive goodies. And I think this path that we're on, there's nothing wrong with goodies. Don't deprive yourself of goodies. Some goodies are definitely going to be more goody and good than others. But yeah, this is such a wonderful project that it's a great honor and pleasure to be part of this. Like I said, I get to hang out with high performing operators in the digital art and game development industry, and it's a tiny team, but the output is like, I just like hanging out with peeps who are really good at what they do, really driven. And sometimes I go hang out and we'll watch videos and just learn about new stuff and explore that. I've got to say, learning Unreal Engine is really fun. That's one of the reasons why I want to get a computer upgrade, so I can have a machine that can run it, to explore it as a teaching tool. Oh my gosh. You got to have a half decent graphics card in it though. So I'm just trying to figure out what the best sort of entry point is. Maybe I get a real baseline model one and then upgrade a bit later or something. I don't know. But yeah, the old Mac's getting pretty tired, but I think I can get Unreal on there, but yeah, it might be a bit of a struggle. Yeah, so thank you, Violet Flame Studios, and we'll definitely do some more shout outs for you guys. Okay. Yes, identify the influences, Heather. Yes, yes, this is it, right? We free ourselves from the things so we can discover who we truly are. Let's discover our immortal spirit in thought, feeling, and action, so that when we do express ourselves into the world, it's the most authentic and genuine part of ourselves. And that's why this, book, this book here really nails it, man. Like, you basically go through and this is Initiation into Hermetics, if you haven't seen. I'm sure you have if you're on this channel. Basically, you go through and you start itemizing the makeup of your being at the 3 levels, and you identify the lesser aspects of yourself. It's mostly to do with the astral body, which is like your feeling and emotional body. But you got to remember too that the vital, physical, carnal, animal body also has base and lower instincts that need to be curbed. And getting, it's like like a food addiction or something, which may be something to do with an emotional attachment as well, of course. But ascetic practices like sitting there with your bowl of food and then just waiting for the hunger to pass and then engaging. You just sit there and watch it and you observe the hunger. You feel that urgency and you just let it pass. And then you eat, and then you're paying attention. You're not reading or watching anything, because that takes away from the experience. Eating's a really interesting, opportunity. So yeah. Oh, okay. Might have to have a bit more of a look into this. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love the tips, guys. Anything you send through, put it on, and I'll put it up there so the other people in the hangout can enjoy. What else are we up to here? Oh yes, please like, subscribe, and share to spread the love. This is really. Hang on, let's just move that off there. Oh, here I am. Oh my gosh, I'm so big. Please like, subscribe. Like, I check out the YouTube analytics, and there's a lot of people watching who aren't subscribed. It really helps. I think makes me feel good about myself, because I don't know. It's like a snapshot of like who's going, you know what? I like this guy and what he's up to. Let's subscribe and hook the bro up. And you can share if you want. Sharing's good. I'll just keep making videos anyway. Oh yes, and here's the other thing. So I'll just get rid of this one here. So at the bottom here, hang on, I'm going to change that. Where are we? We'll change that to a. Hope you guys enjoying me as I fumble my way through. Support the channel with a monthly YouTube membership. So I've got 2 subscription options, and they're just to support the channel. There's no exclusives just yet. Although if you sign up for the YouTube monthly membership, you get stickers and emojis and some other goodies too. And I've said that I'll put priority reply on your comments and things. I'm starting to get quite a bit of incoming communications traffic now, guys. And so it's, I read the comments, but it's a bit of a job, on top of organizing the interviews and doing all the video and but doing all the replies. Like, it's really nice to hear from you. I'm grateful. Thank you so much. I read them, but it's very, I don't always have time to reply to everyone, but if you meet me halfway and get yourself a membership, your replies will get a response. Okay. And I'll certainly, I'll do what I can. And I've got to say thank you to all the guests who come on, who monitor the questions and responses underneath the various videos too. I'm very grateful. I'm so blessed. I get to connect with some absolutely wonderful people. So you can get a monthly YouTube membership. I got to say, they want like 30%. Sweet as. Okay. But if you go to philrice.substack.com, no ads. You can cast to your TV. They haven't got live streaming yet, though. Once they have that, we might jiggle things around a bit. And so, Substack has a great, it's a great upcoming platform. Video, audio, text, images, and just stuff like that. It's getting really awesome. I've got some blogs on there too if you want to read about stuff. It's not so much esoteric stuff. It's more just kind of just stuff. But it's also great because you can watch a video on there. So I'm actually uploading I'm going slowly. My internet connection's not super fast on the way up, but I'm uploading videos on there. And the cool thing is with Substack, if you get the Substack app, and I think you can do it on the browser on the phone as well, you can flick between audio and video. So it becomes a podcast. So you can save your data and you can turn your phone off while you listen to it. How interesting, right? You don't have to buy a YouTube subscription. I'm also wondering if when you hit 1,000 subs on YouTube, hey, I just want to say, I'm not keen on putting ads on my channel. YouTube will do it anyway, because that's just how they roll. I don't like ads. I'm pretty sure most of you guys, you might be like, no, it doesn't bother me too much. But seriously, 30 seconds to sit through an unrelated, unwanted ad. I want to get to the goodies. I'm not going to put ads on, guys. And I have a funny feeling that once I get to the point, I might actually be able to switch ads off for people who are members. I'm not sure. I need to look that up. I saw someone else put something up about that, so I need to do some more research. But basically, I'd love it. I love you guys hanging out. And if we can make it so there's less noise in the signal, less disruptions to the flow of the content, perfect. So yeah, anyway, there's a couple of ways you can do that. You can sign up for a monthly YouTube membership or go to philricesubstack.com. I put the same price on it each. It's like $6 New Zealand. And if you're in another country, trust me, anytime you see something with New Zealand dollars after it, like a figure, it'll be much less for you. The exchange rate, if you're living in New Zealand, and and it's a high cost of living down here, okay? When you put your pricing up for whatever it is, your online services, your products and things, overseas people will see that there's a big difference. It's well worth it, So you can, it's quite a good opportunity if you live in New Zealand to put yourself out to the global family. Cheers. I need to stop talking. Oh, hang on, that's what I'm here for. The coffee's getting cold. I'll keep moving. So now the other thing is that YouTube's done, it's also opened up these super chats and these super stickers and these super thanks. So you can do like one-off thanks. You can get your chat highlighted and get a sticker, and there's all sorts of gimmicky stuff. But I just want to put that out there, guys. There's ways to support this channel. I'm very grateful. I'd love to be able to turn this into something that I can rely on more. And, I'm getting heaps of great feedback, man. You guys seem really grateful for the stuff. And so I am grateful for your gratefulness, your gratitude. And it's encouraging, so yeah, you guys hook me up, I'll hook you guys up, but I'll probably just keep doing it anyway. I love the sound of my own voice and looking at myself on the screen. I'm kidding. Or am I? I'm not perfect, but I'm getting there. Hello, John. Thank you for joining us, brother. Mr. Violet Flame Studios. Please go and subscribe on the violetflamestudios.co.nz website to their newsletter. They've just dropped a newsletter and it's got a new piece of footage on there that is pretty damn cool. I can't share it. You got to go subscribe. violetflamestudios.co.nz. I'll throw it back up again. There it is down the bottom. In fact, let's make it so it's easier to see. violetflamestudios.co.nz/subscribe, or just scroll to the bottom of the screen. Okay. And get goodies. I think even when you start out on the magic path and that, you'll get a tarot deck, you'll get some beads, you'll get some crystals, you'll get this, you'll get that, you'll get things that appeal to you, you'll try things out, you'll find value in them or you won't. But it's I enjoy, I'm not a super, like a hoarder or anything. I find little treasures and sacred gifts when I go for my walks and things. And those are always very pleasant. But fattening out your practice. Because here we are, we're on the Earth Walk, right? Welcome to the Earth Walk. Let me put this in a game frame, okay? So here we go. So you've woken up at some point in your life. Maybe it was after 10 years, 5 years. Maybe you woke. Maybe you were born awake. Who knows? Or you, like me, you sort of hit at mid-30s and you're like, wow, there's way more going on here. Okay, now that I'm awake, so to speak, and becoming more awakened, how am I going to play it this time through? This playthrough, what does it offer me now that I've got some more awareness? Because awareness and perceptual capabilities means you've got more stuff to work with. You can learn to, find ways of, I use this phrase a bit, find ways to becoming a potent agent of positive change in the world. And I really like that, like I started off my working career in customer service. So I've just got on me. I just like helping people out. Someone comes in, hey man, I need some help. Bro, we're going to hook you up. You're going to be rocking out here with a smile and you're going to be walking on a cloud. We can help our brothers and sisters out here. Now, thank you, Violet Flame. Always thank you, Violet Flame, Violet Flame, Violet Flame, Violet Flame. You'll hear me say that a bit. And yes, thank you for sponsoring the live streaming software. Any more things here? Nostalgia. Hello. Thank you for your hello. What do we got? What is the goal of the mirror? Is it to have all positive traits, or is it to balance and having 50 positive and 50 negative? Okay, so what happens is this, right? So from a very practical sort of like point of view, your astral body is, or your feeling body, or we'll just call it your ego, or just there's a part of you which responds to thoughts. Once you have a thought, you'll see something, it'll trigger a thought, and then that'll instantly go into what's called the creation cycle, and you'll start having an emotional response. Pardon me. And it might be a positive one or a negative one. Now, when you start doing Qigong and you start doing the vital breathing and starting to activate these subtle bodies, you'll find that certain aspects of yourself, and this is just how I put it, the good gets gooder and the worse gets worser. So what happens is that you become more powerful, your expressions become more tangible and there's more oomph behind them. And if you had a bit of trouble with your temper before, and you just go straight for power over refinement, because this is a path of, we're walking dual paths here. We're empowering ourselves and refining ourselves. It's like strapping a rocket to your back, but you've got without a navigation system or a wonky navigation system. You're gonna, you want to be focused, but your emotions will pull you around. Like you're going to have a reaction to thing. You might have been traumatized at some point in your life, these kinds of things, and so these are going to affect your decision making. And so we clean up the astral body. We take a good hard look at ourselves. Where's my magnifying glass? And we go, okay. And we objectively write down, because what we're doing is that we get a piece of paper and we get basically like a piece of paper and we divide it into two columns, the black mirror and the white mirror. And the black mirror is all of the things that you know about yourself that are negative. Number one, you might say coffee addiction. You might say, I'm cranky around this person. I'm this, I'm that. And what you're doing is you're externalizing it. You're making it an objective thing. Yes, there's this part of me. I'm looking at it and this is real. I know it is. I'm not super upset about it or anything. It's just what it is currently. And when you have that, then you can start working on it. That's why I love tarot, man. I haven't really been advertising my services, have I? So yeah, I'm a tarot reader. And one of the coolest things about the tarot is I call them tarot conversations. And that is, basically we'll sit down with someone and they'll have a thing they want to talk about. And I say, look, this gives a rather unique angle on the world, because that's why you go to tarot reader. If you went to see the local butcher, he's probably not going to sort of give you esoteric knowledge. Although. So what you're doing is that you've got a thing, the person comes in and sits in front of you, and you can think about yourself in this way too. You're sitting across the table from them, or you're sitting there with your deck. And what you're doing is you're writing the thing down, or you're putting it down in front of you. You're externalizing it. You're putting it in a kind of a container of sorts and just observing it, going, okay, we've got this thing here and we're going to work on it. Now, oh, hang on. I'm just going to turn the heater off a bit. It's getting a bit warm. Got to be mindful of that. So we externalize things and then we just start having a conversation about it. And what it does is it removes it from you. So you take this thing the soup that you're swimming in, and you separate the part of the soup that needs to be attended to. And that's kind of what the process can be likened to. You're in a soup of all of your stuff, and some of it's not your stuff, and you're learning how to separate the layers of the soup. You're separating the carrots from the capsicum, and some stuff is like really fused into the water of the soup, and that takes more time. You've got to build the sense perception to be able to drill down into that deep level of specificity and granularity so you can start separating things in a much deeper layer. But you start with the easy stuff first. I get cranky in traffic. I get cranky and irritated in traffic. How can I deal with that? This is it. So once you have your soul mirror balanced, and you also acknowledge, your positive traits too. And for some people, that's going to be harder, But this is a really good exercise because essentially you're mapping out who you are and your personality. And this is really where you can start making some progress, because you're going to free yourself, man. And I was talking about this with Martin Folks the other day, when we did the podcast. You're sitting and the mental training exercises, you start receding back into the mental body and becoming the observer. And then all of those little tendrils of wanting to explore the world, it's like a pipe with an energy going that way, and you're sending all your energy out, and you're using energy to explore things. And you've got to tame and school that spirit, that mental body, that curious little explorer, and pull it back in to start with, and then you can start focusing on things, right? Because you'll notice it, right? When you really get into that step 1 mental training and you start just observing without touching and creating a space between you and the things you're watching, rather than connecting with them, then you have an emotional response, and then you might have a physical response, which can be quite tiring, because all of this paying attention has a cost, and interacting with things unconsciously. If you're thinking about heaps of stuff, you're going to get tired. You do this exercise, just watching your thoughts rise and fall away, you'll just start, oh man, I feel so less mentally exhausted as a starting point. You'll notice that there'll be layers of fatigue that just naturally fall away. It's a really potent practice, man. So hopefully that answers your question, Buddy Boulder. Thank you so much. Just to answer your question more directly, it's about balancing it. You're trying to flatten the peaks and the spikes of your personalities, primarily the negatives, because those are the ones that you want to shore up quickly, because you don't want to get overpowered with chi or, vital force and the elements and things like that. And then basically, if you've got a short temper, this will make it worse. You will lash out more to the people around you care about. You don't want that. You don't want to be doing these practices and hurting people while you're figuring it out. You really want to sort yourself out, and just sitting like that first, like I said, that first mental exercise, watching your thoughts rise and fall away, that will bring you so much peace. You need to do it every day, and you need to do it a couple of 3 times a day to start with, really, to get used to it. And you'll find that in a week, man, your life will change. And I've got a blog on my Substack. I'll have to share it again, I think. But basically, I wrote like an unfolding narrative of you basically talking yourself, or me talking myself through the process. You're basically just sitting there in a chair. You're watching a stage. Your thoughts are getting up and rising and falling away. You are separating yourself from the thoughts. So you're discovering the mental landscape and what constitutes the mental landscape. And you're just doing it with your thoughts, with the mind gate. You're not doing it with so much sensory inputs from the external world, although they do play into it. But to start with, you just want to sit there, and whatever pops up, you just sort of just look at it and go, there's a thing. There's me, there's a thing, and there's a space in between. And I'm not going to touch and engage that thing. Okay. So brilliant exercise. So all these practices lead towards the improvement of the self. And just work on flattening the peaks or the spiky bits of your personality so you can be calm and peaceful and relaxed, because you kind of need that, because that's essentially noise. And you'll just get worn out too. And like I said, you don't want to be blowing up at people. And then the positive traits, well, they get amplified, don't they? Especially once you start doing the element training. All right, let's keep moving along here. Do you have tips for projecting the elements materially? Barden said it should be mastered in second nature by the end of step 5. I think when you start off in the early parts of IIH and you're learning to do visualization, that's it's very similar to the Kabbalah process, because that's where it's all kind of heading, to the third book. Where is he? This wonderful book, man. I tell you what, like IIH is amazing. It's amazing. And, the PME stuff, not right now, but yeah, this book is just, it's exceptional. But essentially what you're doing is that you're learning what you're doing is that you can feel something within you first. Okay. And then you're bringing it in, you're feeling it intrinsically, and then you're learning you're convincing yourself that you can do this thing by externalizing it, by moving energy around your body first, and then you learn to move it out. And so that's why the Qigong via Mark Rasmus is just, that's the one? Yeah. Because, it really supplements and complements, and I would even say takes Barden's Qigong to a whole nother level. In fact, it works. And it takes, and the element work takes the Qigong to a whole nother level. They're beautiful, because the Mark Rasmus stuff, and 60 Skills does it too, I believe, brings in all the body training, which Barden doesn't really mention too much. He talks about gymnastics, but he doesn't talk about how to build up the fascia and increase the conductivity and the throughput of the feeling of the energy. So the vital force is almost like the bowl of rice. It's got an underlying nutrition to it, but and it's highly useful, but you can flavor it and add things to it. And so you take the vital force and you move it into the astral phase, and then you can start separating it into the 4 elements. You can make your astral body move up, move down, and then you can, expand it, contract it, make it hot, make it cold, and these types of things. So you're learning different ways of stretching this body and this muscle. And, because there's the astral has the feeling, and it has the emotional side of it, and they link into each other. You have fire feelings and you have fire emotions. Like a fire feeling might be like heat and expansion, and a fire emotion, which is almost like the other side of the coin, but maybe not the best analogy, is like is like anger, or like an uncontrolled, fiery expression of yourself. And so when we're trying to project them, I'm getting back to your question, nostalgia. Yeah, what you want to do is just stick to those early phases of making sure you can feel it and move it around your body. Move it around your body. Feel the energy here, pull it in here, and then move it over here. You've got to learn to pack the body. So you learn to pack the body as a starting point, the whole body, and then you partition it into segments, and then you learn how to do this. You're almost turning your body into like a digital kind of environment in some ways, because you're using your mind to say, there's a thing here now, and it's full of energy because I'm breathing into it. This is quite a curious process. Oh, Heather, thank you so much. It's very helpful. I appreciate this, and most happy just to share the stuff for the benefit of you guys, and those around you too. Like, number one thing I say to the clients that come to me for Reiki and or meditation is like, the goal is like, I can show you how to do this, and you will know it so well that you can pass this on. So one thing we can be thinking about is how we can review, like, current types of traditions that we have in our families, and go, what, have we forgotten our traditions from our ancestors? Have we forgotten our roots? And we can start building our own traditions with our families and go, what, I think meditation and wisdom and sharing and finding ways to better the family as a starting point, and ourselves and the family outwards, is a great place to start. And so just, thinking about, when you share something with someone with the idea, if it's a really good thing, how can that go further? Okay, Heather, Thank you once again for that very kind donation. I appreciate that. What do you think about going into dream time? Sometimes my brain wants to go through heaps of random memories and keeps me up for so long. Could it be something in the astral siphoning my attention? Okay, that's an interesting one. What do you think about going into dream time? Sometimes my brain wants to go through heaps of random memories. Yeah, so what I found is, because I've done a stack of dream work. In fact, it's actually funny because I brought this book out with me today, and I'm going to talk about this in a bit. This is Dream Alchemy by Ted Andrews. This is an exceptional book. There is so many things to play with and explore in this book. It is a absolute gem. Dream Alchemy by Ted Andrews. And what I want to say is that the first part of your sleep, so sleep cycles are about 90 minutes approximately. And so when you go to bed at say 9 or 10 o'clock, you need around 3 to 4 sleep cycles of 90 minutes each, which is your delta or deep rejuvenating sleep, which all of your being needs. Okay, your body needs to recuperate, your mind needs to rest, your astral body needs to rest. And yes, you're going to go off and explore, but what I'll say is that first section of sleep is really important. And you want to take, like Barton says in Initiation into Hermetics, you want to take beautiful thoughts into your dreams, because that will help you to have a beautiful sleep. And that will give you, basically, you'll be able to optimize your sleep and capitalize on the opportunity of what sleep can offer. Now, the other thing that dreaming does, from my understanding, is it's housekeeping for your mind and for your astral body, and that it helps to make sense of things. So in a lot of cases, when you're looking at dreams, they're not necessarily telling you to do stuff, or like it's not some massively divine premonition or anything like that. And I'm not saying that it isn't. However, in a lot of cases, it's housekeeping. And it's just giving you a feedback, because sometimes we're not truly honest with ourselves. And some of those deepest things that we're not dealing with, and we're just kind of pushing away. Like, we can fool ourselves into, we can sweep it under the carpet, but it's still there. And it's going to come out at some point, isn't it? And the dreams will often give us information. We can use it as a feedback monitor. And it's going to speak to us. Well, it's going to attempt I call it the dream poet. It's going to attempt to speak to us in a symbolic language that we can understand, because it's attempting to convey an understanding. It's going to use familiar faces. You're not necessarily dreaming about that person. You're basically, it's like the person is like a reflection of an attitude or a behavior or an action, and it's to help you relate to it. It's basically, it doesn't use literal words as such. It paints messaging and understanding using symbolism. Some of that symbolism is going to be personal for you, and some of it's going to have a more of a universal flavor to it. That's why, dream books are good. I find that dream dictionaries and that are good to sort of look for universal type things and just help you, because you can also use them to train your dream poet to develop understanding. It's like, the ocean means emotions. That's a very vague one, but, if it goes, we both agree that means that thing. Okay. And then there's like a handshake between your conscious and your subconscious, or your conscious mind and your dream poet. And it'll go, okay, well, when I'm referring to this particular area of your life, I'm going to use this symbolism. And then the water might be flat and calm. It might be all roiling and surfy and full on. It might be a storm. There may be fish in there. And then that adds deeper layers of context for us to explore, to flesh out. And there's so much that can be done with dreams. And as far as my brain wants to go through heaps of random memories and keeps me up for so long. So I'm guessing that you're having trouble getting to sleep then? Is that what you're saying? If you could just give me some more details on that, Heather, because I'd happy to help you out here. But something in the astral siphoning my attention. Well, as a general comment, I would say it's really good housekeeping before you go to bed, just to do a bit of a clearing in the room, a blessing, a prayer. I don't know, like, burning incense and sage, probably not a good idea. When you go to sleep, you might be, can't breathe. But, fill the room with vital energy and just put a protective buzz in there. Sweep it out with a kasha if you've got access to your kasha. If not, then just a prayer is perfect. And just breathe into the room, spread your mind out into the space to fill the space, and then just breathe in the vital energy and just breathe in purity and clarity and a nice big golden light. And, you've got to find something that works for you. And go to bed, go into your sleep time nice and happy and content and peaceful. Aim for that. Make peace with yourself before you go to sleep, guys. It's a good thing. And sleep hygiene, very important, very valuable. Demeter, if suffering externally, we can create happiness internally. It could be our karma or inherited. The external could be our internal. Yeah, great. So the way I kind of see it is I see everyone in the world and everything in the world as a kind of a mirror to reflect back on me. So when I see someone suffering or someone angry or something I don't like about someone, I catch myself and I go, hey, is that something I'm projecting that's actually part of me? Now, hang on. Now I'm going to rephrase that. Is that something that is something I need to work on? So if I see something that I don't like about someone, and that may be an extreme version, because sometimes we need to have extreme contrast presented to us to get our attention and help us to make sense of it. And you'll see that in dreams too. But there is inherited and karmic things that can bleed over from life to life, without a doubt. And this is a discovery process. And so one of the reasons why many of us will choose the Hermetic path is that because we want the scientist's approach to developing perceptual discovery capabilities. We want to know what these things are and how we can find them within ourselves. I know this is personal, but can do things like lighting a candle. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't talk a lot about my about things that I can do. If anything I will talk about, it'll probably be healing outcomes. But what I'll say is this. There are if you listen, Clint Sabom's channel is really good because he talks very openly about the things that he's been able to achieve. So I would check out clintsabom.com, his YouTube. Sorry, Clint Sabom, CLINTSABOM. I really enjoy stuff that I can do with other people. I've got my own internal things. After a while, a lot of these things become quite normalized, and they're like. Some people might be quite buzzed out by what you can do if you mention it, but mentioning things to people, there's a reason why we build a pillar of silence. If we don't get some kind of validating feedback, it can take the wind out of our sails. That's why I don't recommend just going out and telling everyone about your personal experiences. Because then the other thing is you can contaminate them, their experience as well. You got to kind of pick what you're going to share with people. And I would suggest, just don't be in a hurry to share all your personal experiences, like your dreams and your coincidences and synchronicities and things like that. Because if you don't get some kind of return, sort of like heightened, oh my God, and they're like this, you might feel a bit deflated. And that, like I said, you don't want to just vent your energy out into the void and hope for a good response there. There's a reason, like I said, for the pillar of silence. But yeah, sometimes people need a bit of inspiration, and sometimes you can have a real conversation. You just got to pick those, pick the right situations. How does lucid dreaming relate to dream time? So I'm guessing dream time, you're talking about not the original people of Australia. They have a conversation on dream time. I'm guessing you're just talking about dreaming. Well, my understanding in general is that dreams are almost like a personalized pocket of the astral, like a personal sand pit that's kind of like a story or a book that's created for you with scenes and events and characters and items and symbols. And when you're lucid dreaming, you have in the early stages especially, you'll generally have it's not quite the holodeck on Star Wars where you can, Star Trek, sorry, Philip. It's still a malleable environment, but there are, as you get better at lucid dreaming, you can play with more of it, but some of it not so much. And so, like I said, it is like there is some dreams. There's so many different types of dreams out there. Some dreams are just housekeeping dreams. Some dreams are more lucid. You get different levels of lucidity as well. One of the best things about training the mental training exercises in Barden's initiation into Hermetics is that it helps you to stop, because if you get excited in a lucid dream, it'll normally snap you out of it. Oh my gosh, I'm having a lucid dream, and that can wake you up. You want to be able to go, I'm having a lucid dream, and not have an emotional response. You're occupying this part, the more the spirit, which is just the observer, and you're not getting like this. So lucid dreaming can be converted into out-of-body experience as well. It can be a launch pad. In fact, I think Mark Stavish talks about this quite extensively, about lucid dreaming being a really great gateway opportunity to explore. It's like a training ground, like a safe little sand pit for you to explore before, because, a lot of the things that you'll explore in the lucid dreaming environment will be very similar to the out-of-body experience. Like, here's a great example. So I'm practicing Qigong, right? Here we go. I've got this feeling of energy between my hands. Oh man, that's cool. And then I'm pushing out and I'm moving into an electric phase, and I feel the energy just shifting out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hands down by my side, standing up, and I'm going to push down, and I'm going to push myself up with fire element or air element and feel a bit floaty. If you do that in a lucid dream and put your hands down and feel the energy coming out there, there's a good chance you'll start flying. I really struggled flying in my lucid dreams. I just couldn't do it. I was trying to will it. And then I just started using the Qigong, because I put my mind on the feeling of the energy, and then I started rising, and I was off to the races. It was really cool. How do we remove flashbacks or memories that haunt us that we want to dispel? So what we want to do is think about it in terms of release. And essentially, we've got to be able to put this thing in front of us in some point, containerize it, and then give it a going away ceremony. And that can be quite challenging, because some of these things are very stressful for us, and some things we may not actually be able to deal with in this lifetime. It depends, if you find the right person who can give you the instruction. But there's a practice called the Sedona method, which is quite popular. I hear it quite a bit amongst Bardenists. I know Clint Sabom offers a course on it. But basically, it teaches you how to encapsulate a trauma or an emotional situation and then just release it. And so you actually, viscerally or tangibly feel it leaving you, and then you'll be like, oh, and you'll feel a great relief. The other one is that you can basically go to get a healing session with someone, and if they've got good sort of clairvoyance or clairsentient skills, they might be able to locate it and release it for you. But yeah, I mean, letting go of things is a very valuable skill. Releasing. Okay, and Heather, thank you. Having trouble falling asleep, and I have incredible nerve pain. That makes it challenging. I don't sleep for more than 2 or 3 hours at a time. Oh dear, Heather. Sister, that is horrible to hear. Yeah, I even as a healer, I'm not really comfortable giving sort of any kind of like health related advice, except I would encourage you to explore basically any kind of physical issue or issue that you're having. What you want to do is you want to get to know it really well. You want to go onto YouTube, you want to go on the internet, and you're going to have to wade through a lot of stuff. You can listen to the doctor speak about it, which is fine. But when you become more knowledgeable about it, that's when you can start to identify little aspects and attributes of it. And then you will be able to get your fingers around it eventually. And you'll be able to, the goal is to dislodge these things. Now, if there's an actual broken physical end, like if there's a thing that's broken and it's causing the distress, now that's where am I going with this? I've had friends and I've seen things happen on the healing table that have just blown me away, to be honest. And there's plenty of stories of people recovering from things when the doctors have given up on them. So Heather, I would say, keep exploring. If you know someone who's a local healer that you trust, I would say go and explore that. Someone who's really emotionally balanced and things like that, who does regular practice. I would say go, anytime you go see a healer, guys, go and see someone that's probably full-time. Part-time people are fine, and I'm not knocking anyone who's on their way, but if you've got something significant, you've got to build up a bit of resilience as a healer for certain types of issues. And so Katja Key, who's got a wonderful YouTube channel, talked about this just recently. Actually, I'm going to share some of her stuff because she's really awesome. But yeah, going and getting on a table and getting a healing session and seeing, how you respond to that. There may be a bit of discomfort afterwards, but ultimately, these esoteric healing methodologies are absolutely valid. And, I'll just quickly go back to your other question, Heather. So the other one, Heather, is that I have heard about the opportunities of healing yourself through lucid dreaming. And this may be something worth exploring. If you're having a lot of dreams and you're also in a lot of pain, you might be able to find that there's a junction point where those things are actually purposefully engaging each other and offering an opportunity for you to explore so that you can get a great resolution. Wouldn't that be wonderful? So yeah, I would encourage you to, like I said, whatever it is that's going on, and I'm it's quite likely that you already have, but really get to know what's going on. You're going to hear this from this person and this from that person, but these pains and these sufferings that we have, some may say, and as a healer myself, I'd say that these are indicators and things that we're having our attention brought to something. I've had people come in to me with like a sore thumb, and then they still had a bit of a sore thumb when they left the healing session, but something else got sorted. So one thing can be there to get something else sorted. But if you've got a pretty chronic issue by the sounds of it, then, that's something's knocking on the door trying to get your attention there. And, if you can, lucid dreaming is pretty straightforward. You just basically get your phone, you set about 10 alarms throughout the day. And every time the alarm goes off, you look around the world and you go, am I dreaming? Am I dreaming? How do I know I'm not dreaming? And then you'll flick the light on. If you're in a dream, generally the light switch won't work. Jump up and down. You might fly in a dream. You're just trying to convince you. You're just testing to see if you're in a lucid dream environment. I've actually got a bit of a dream course I'm making at the moment. So I'll let everyone know once I've got that more under control. But I've heard some pretty amazing stories about people healing themselves in dreams. So that's definitely worth checking out. Yes. Oh, Heather. Yes. Stay strong there, sis, and just keep on keeping on. And find value in your situation and how you can turn your situation to your advantage. Because sometimes restriction means that you get to focus on things because it eliminates other things that may be distracting. I'm hoping that's of some value and some help to you, sis. Clint Sabom, yes, perfect. Thank you, Himmelsschreiber. That's very helpful. Oh, and the Mark Rasmus channel. Yes, so there we go. That's very helpful. I appreciate that, Himmelsschreiber. That's very helpful. Thank you. Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Thank you, Demeter. Oh, perfect. There we go. There's a great recommendation. Share the best stuff you got, guys. This is what we're here for. We haven't got time to, muck around here. If you found some hot top shelf stuff, share it with the family, please. Wonderful. Hey, you're most welcome, Heather. And and so since somebody's brought it up and there's a need for it, I'll start talking about it. Dreaming is really fun. It's really cool. There's some things to be mindful of too. And we actually talked about it in one of the barred-ins as well, because, lucid dreaming all the time. You've got a tank basically full of lucid dreaming juice or gas. And if you use it up, you can do yourself a bit of mischief. Wonderful. Okay. Now, so, okay, everyone. So, right. So thank you for that, all the messages. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get to this, basically this list of things that I have here. Oh, that's not even the right list. We're having a hangout here. Well, it's been an hour already, and my coffee is definitely, it's not that hot anymore, but that's okay. Okay, now, so first of all, I wanted to do some updates. And if you have noticed, I've done a bunch of updates actually. So we talked about, the YouTube channel now has the ability for you guys to express a mutual exchange of value if you so wish. And that you can do via, this one here. You can like, subscribe, and share. That is helpful. I appreciate, if you think my message is of some value and maybe I'd help out other people, please send it around, send it around, send it around. If you want to go, you know what? I like this fella. I want to encourage him with some ka-ching-ching. You can get a YouTube membership. There's super chats and super thanks active underneath the video. You can go to my Substack as well, and there's no ads, and you can cast to your TV, and you can listen to audio with your phone off. You don't have to buy a YouTube subscription and these types of things. So there's a bunch of ways you can help things out here, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Now, but anyway, let's do something a little bit quirky. And what I'm going to do is, now I haven't got any music that I'm going to play, but what I was going to do is that I was just going to actually put some memes up here. So these are just some funny things that I'm going to put up, and we're just going to have a bit of a laugh. So what I'm going to do is, I can't put the music up, unfortunately. I'll have to come back to that. But the idea is that we want to have a bit of a laugh here. And we won't stick on this for too long. I've got a bunch of them, but I've got a massive list of them. So this is pretty funny because, what is it? There's that old Rolling Stones song, "Sympathy for the Devil." What do you think of that? Remember, this is lighthearted humor. Okay. All right. What else we got? Pardon me. I'll see if there's an easy one to read. When you're a servant bound to the power of the One Ring, but you got a couple days of vacation, so you pop over to Italy for some me time. That's pretty funny. I'm guessing that's supposed to be a ring wrath from Lord of the Rings. This this is gold. So narcissists, obviously where we get the word narcissistic from, and narcissists and that, and he's checking himself out in the mirror, and then he gets bitten by a vampire, and now he can't look at himself. That's good karma in some ways, isn't it? It's also a bit of a harsh one because now he's immortal as a vampire. Oh well. I love all these sort of counter inspirational memes that are made in good humor and good jest. Oh, I love it. Yeah, that's it. I've got to say, I love reading some of those really old Greek texts. I've got one of the bros recommended Plotinus. Oh my gosh, man! I read a bit of Iamblichus and a bit of Plato and that, but this Plotinus stuff is, but it's good stuff. Like, even reading it will make you smarter. You don't even have to understand it. There's some things just they've almost got, maybe it's the egregore, I'm not sure, but it's even like you're just putting the information in your subconscious, or this computer in the background that's like this. I think Bob's from 60 Skills said it really well. He said it's like an unintelligent computer, but it's still really good because it's great for organizing data and helping to find linkages and make sense of things. So yeah, keep reading, guys. She went to the fruiterer's to buy him some fruit. When she came back, he was playing the flute. I love this sort of stuff. This is always cute. See that? I made it rhyme. Oh, man, I'm hilarious. Oh, this is great. It's funny, actually, because Victoria from Psyche Alchemica shared something. She went to Las Vegas recently out on and shared some stuff about her trip there. And basically, she called Pompeii like the Vegas of its time, where people would go to indulge. And I remember watching this documentary on Pompeii, and there's all of these pictures of like big phalluses, like these big schlongs up on the wall and mosaics and things. It was the most bizarre thing. But yeah, all the this is pretty funny. The other one to check out that's quite intriguing is Mohenjo-daro. I think it's in, where is it? Is it in India near Pakistan? And basically there's all of these figures that are like Pompeii that are just like frozen in time, and there's all this radiation readings there and that, and it's like the poses that they were in, they were like running at the time and that, and it's like it's almost like they were like, I don't want to say snap frozen, but they were sort of, something happened in a flash. And yeah, it's quite bizarre. It's Mohenjo-daro. I'll have to do a little bit of a ancient mysteries session at some point. That'll be fun. There's so many interesting things on this planet, aren't there? Not so esoteric, but still kind of funny. I think, when we look through the eyes of animals, we can just sort of like, I don't know, just relax a little bit, Yeah, this is a good one. This is like the Spartan approach. All right, this is like the gauntlet, right? Everyone's lining up to give you a hard time, but it's like, man, I got my thing. This thing will happen. And you recognize that whatever it is, there's going to be challenges, and you're just like zip that way. And yep, you're getting beaten and smashed all the way down the hallway, but you're still focused on the thing. These other things, they'll heal up. You can let them go later on and do stuff. And some of them are going to be helpful and some of them not so helpful, but essentially seeking to find value in these challenging situations, you will suddenly find that the Earth Walk is a bountiful harvest of opportunity for deep growth. And yeah. I know there's a couple of you guys in the audience that'll be getting a kick out of this one. Oh, that's gold, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, that's one of the ultimates, isn't it? You get to the stage of your development, and you can, start transmuting things from one thing to another, like earth plane alchemy types of things. Oh. Hey, tell me if you. Oh, this is. I better put the comments on. Sorry, guys, I'm getting caught up in here. All right, Randy, thank you, bro. Oh, g'day, Will. Thanks for joining us. The gauntlet of naysayers. So I am a guy too. Yes, absolutely, I'm a guy. I'm just going to put another one up here. So, okay, so Waldo is in New Zealand, it's Where's Wally. In America, it's Where's Waldo. So yeah, this is pretty good. And yeah, it's pretty funny. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Mark Thomas, how are you doing today? I'm very well, thank you, Mark. Thank you for reaching out. Got to see part of your talk with my friend Martin Fox. Oh, wonderful. I'm glad you enjoyed that. That was a long talk. I thought I was just going to get the bro for an hour, and then he's like, oh, the next person's cancelled, and I got a bit of time to kill. And so we just ended up talking. He obviously, Martin has a lot to share. And so, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in that conversation. 3 hours, man. Longest one yet, I think. And was in a discussion with some anthroposophists about current events and spirituality. Might I share? I'm not quite understanding that, Mark. If you could reframe that for me. I don't quite understand what the thing is. I mean, anthroposophy is obviously the when Rudolf Steiner moved away from the school of theosophy and started up his own philosophy, I guess, and practical philosophy of anthroposophy. Yeah, I mean, I only really have quite a superficial kind of understanding of anthroposophy. There's so much to explore out there. I get exposed to. I've got a friend. She's in the chat, and she shares a lot about her experiences with the Steiner material. And there's obviously so much of Steiner to explore. So. But yeah, if you could just reframe the question for me. So I just don't quite get it. All right, where's our next meme here? Yeah, this is one about being a bit needy, I guess. That's pretty funny. Okay. Tommy, coffee burns the Olge's spiritual energy like fire. It's not good for meditation. Sorry for breaking the mood. Haha. Yeah, no, hey, seriously, I get little nudges about coffee. It has got some function to it, and it's a tool. But like all tools, things can be abused or misused. And pardon me, there's different types of coffee and different ways to imbibe coffee. And but yeah, I mean, I am aware that coffee has its ups and downs, but it does have its functional uses too. But ideally, we move away from needing external things, you know, and all we need is ourselves. Wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah, yeah. Please, Mark, if you've got something to share on anthroposophy, please send it through. I mean, you know, we're just having a hangout here. So, you know, if it's, you know, interesting and relevant, I guess, or, you know, you think it's worth sharing, please put it forward. Oh, well, Will, thank you for joining us, brother. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. All right, let's keep these memes moving here. Oh, this is classic. Lord of the Rings. Yes, Martin was superb. And, you know, and one of the things I really respect about Martin is you know, he's an ardent follower of the practice. Pretty much, you know, he's a proponent of following it to the letter. And there is absolutely, it's important that conversation is kept alive and well. And, you know, and he gives some excellent reasons why, I think, and he does it well. And I mean, you know, he's very good at waxing poetically and that. And yes, it was great to hear that, because essentially, like, you know, the teachers' best advertisements are their students. And if there's 100,000 people reading IIH, but nobody's getting anywhere because they're not doing it right, it's like Reiki. And I know some people might not like this, but Reiki is a daily practice. It's like Qigong. It is. It's Reiki and Qigong are so similar. Reiki's got its own Qigong. It's called Kiko. It's a Japanese word for Qigong, basically. And, you know, there's a reason why we have these solid systems. And I think it's good too to critique the systems and explore where we think they may have room for movement, for innovation, but also maybe some things aren't relevant in this time, space, location. You know, some things are time and place appropriate for the time. They're made for a different type of personality or a different cultural context. Ideally, we're looking for the universal teachings. And that's why I love initiation into Hermetics and Barden's work, because that is aimed at, it's a universal approach. And that's what I've been looking for a big part of my life. Classic. I've got to say, as I start getting more and more into the social media realm, I'm having to get more of these two-factor authentications and two-step verifications and things. And I don't keep my passwords on my computer. I have them written down, and I have a good memory too. I practice remembering passwords, and I have a few. This is a great one, isn't it? And this is about reframing, you know, your how you see things in the world and turning things to your advantage. Going, okay, how can this obstacle be valuable to me? Just another big shout out, guys. Don't forget, please like, subscribe, and share, and all that sort of stuff. And here's some options for supporting the channel. Very grateful for any support you can offer. Want to get a new computer at some stage. If I can pay groceries by coming on here and sharing the wisdom that I love to explore, develop, and I really like being a teacher, actually. I found my love for teaching when I was working in corporate as a trainer, and I was teaching people how to use software and understand technical manuals. I was a parts guy for trucks and heavy machinery and forestry and mining equipment and things like that. So I got to understand the parts side of technical things and how things put together and how things are cataloged and how information is organized and categorized. And I'm finding that that is very transferable for myself as a music teacher in my time when I did that. I have got so many amazing analogies for teaching from music. Music teaching, like I didn't plan to become a music teacher. I wanted to be a rock and roller. I basically just wanted, when I was in my younger days, I just basically wanted to go out and, I'll just be very blunt, get wasted and get laid. And then it turned out that the best way to make money as a musician was as a teacher. And then I started hanging out with the kids. And I mean, I was a pretty good person in some ways, but I did enjoy hedonism to some extent. And then I realized that these young kids were pretty impressionable and I had to lift my game. And then I started really enjoying being a teacher because it was problem solving and customer support. You know, not every person, I could show them how to play a chord, but not everyone got it. And when you got 4 kids sitting in front of you and 2 of them get it, but the other 2 don't, you are on the spot to be creative as a teacher so that they get it. And so there's an expectation there. This is pretty fun. So yeah, I'm I have to say, I somewhat question the choice of where they put the whammy bar. Although, to be fair, if that was, yeah, I won't probably comment on that one too much, but it's pretty fun. Yeah, the mighty set. This is. Oh dear. All right, let's do a few more, and then I've got some other things I want to talk about and do. Yes, because there will be a Viking Jedi. I'm sure Star Wars, Disney and Lucasfilm are gonna, I don't know, man. Like the Acolyte just got cancelled. Now, whatever you think about the Acolyte, whatever you think about Lucasfilm or Disney, they're certainly exploring territory kind of outside what especially us, you know, who grew up with Star Wars, you know, it's certainly going off on some new sorts of tangents of exploration as far as the subject material and the nature of what they're including and excluding. I'll just leave it at that. I love this one. This is why it's so important to think about, you know, who we surround ourselves, what we put in our bodies, you know, what we share, what we put out into the world. Some people are far more potent with their words and their actions than they realize. You know, like kids are, you know, these little empty TV cameras essentially up to the age of around about 7 in their formative years. They're just taking everything that they see. They trust the adults that are endorsed in front of them, you know. So the kids are like seeds in some ways too, you know. Make sure, you know, look after that soil, guys, and water them well. Give them good food. Oh man, I tell you what, man, the age of memes are so good, aren't they? And so I just love, like, I just scroll down. Basically, Facebook's for memes for me now. I just steal memes. The other one is too, guys. If you check the YouTube description below, you'll see there's a link to my Telegram channel. So that's kind of like an alternate, because I really love encouraging people to explore other things apart from the usuals, like Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. Like I think people become a bit too addicted to these big platforms. And of course, these are the biggest censorship platforms as well. And so what you can do is you can go to the Telegram, which is in the YouTube description below, and you can go there and you'll get one of the exclusives there is that you get lots of memes. All right. This is another great one. So this is all the AI jokes. All right. So we're getting a little bit off esoteric here, but let's get back to some questions, and then I'm going to just have a look at some of the things that popped up. Okay, let's see if there's an esoteric one here. That's pretty funny. Oh, this is good. All right, we'll finish on this one here. I need to make a note because I've got a couple of 100 memes lined up here, so we'll do that for another show. Just tell me, do you guys like the memes thing that I'm doing here? Like, it's just a fun thing, and we just talk as we go, and we'll just share things. Oh yeah, I forgot to go back to the thing. I wonder how many different Yeshua egregores there are. Yes. Well, this is the thing is that I would say there's an overarching egregore. And then obviously, like last time I checked, there was a book I read. And, you know, on one hand, you've generally got one branch of, say, Catholicism. with a membership basis of around about 1 billion. And then, of course, you have after the Reformation, you had the break off, and then this book says something like 36,000 different branches of Christianity. Yeah, of course, there's going to be every little isolated little church is going to have its own egregore, and then if it belongs to a bigger group, then that'll have a bigger one too. I think there's egregores within egregores. Yeah, don't weld and watch memes, Will. Trust me on that. Might do yourself a mischief. I feel like the egregore of Thoth has been communicating with me over the past decade in various ways. Yes, I would also say there is something going on there. Thoth is obviously the Egyptian god of magic and of communication and language and sciences too, I think. And so he's quite a widespread one. But essentially, like we talk about this a bit. Why does this figure stand out for practices so much? And obviously, it's the how and the why. Of what we do, like how to achieve these states and explore these the greater reality. Thank you, sir. Yes, here's the Martin Folks channel. Please make sure you check out Martin Folks' channel. Man, that guy has got so many videos, and he's got such a wonderful way of sharing information. I'm getting better at not saying and ah. You may have noticed as the live streams progress, I am getting better at not doing that. When I'm speaking like this, I don't usually use them. It's just when I'm communicating with others, because I'm doing so many different things at once. But yeah, Martin is an exceptional speaker, really is. And I would encourage people just to go and check out his channel, even just to watch a very talented speaker. And he's got some wonderful videos, truly wonderful. Oh, great. Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying the memes. Yes, memes are good fun. Okay, anyway, let's pull the memes down for a sec. Now, what I'm going to do is I have... where are we? Okay, now I'm going to bring up... Okay, so here was the barred in from last week. And obviously I had I had Clint on as well. And what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to run through, because I missed some of the questions here. So this is just basically like a recap. So we answered a lot of these, but I know that some of them were missed. Yeah, and so there was one here from Himschreiber about is the fluid linked to the bodily fluids, in particular the inner secretions from the glands? I think that you're going to find that everything, like as above, so below, everything is intrinsically related. I'm just going to change that image there because I've got a funny look on my face. Let's see if we can get a better one there. Well, that's pretty funny to look at, right? Oh, here we go. Oh, they're lovely. This couple is so lovely. Armand and Dee Dee from Cheese Girls, they're both met Mark. Armand's trained with Mark. But yeah, so and Philip's always great. He's always great to have on the podcast. So yeah, as far as connecting it to the fluids goes, so if you think about the water element and things that are analogous to that, movement and flow and fluid dynamics and things like that, that could be considered to be a relationship between this concept of fluids, like you're talking about the electric and the magnetic fluids, and the via the law of analogy and the physical fluids. Because some fluids, although to be fair, the fluids in the body are generally moving. They're not being they may actually. This is a really good question. I'll have to ask someone who knows about anatomy. My presumption is that the transportation of fluids around the body is generally an electric. It's going in a direction. It's not being pulled towards something, or is it? Hang on, the heart is pumping. So yes, no, there is, of course, because we have veins and we have arteries. So yeah, so we can see, and obviously, isn't it funny how the veins are blue and the arteries are red, aren't they? I believe so. I might be completely wrong here, but I'm fairly confident. Yeah, here we go. So it sounds like the fluid is a kind of essence of the element. Yeah, that's it there. Like, so we further down was a question about the relationship of the what the relationship between the elements and the fluids. Victor Schauberger. Now that's an interesting topic. Yeah, Schauberger. Oh my gosh, that's a great thing to bring up, Schauberger. Thank you for that. Pardon me. I might have to start bringing some stuff up and doing some deep dives on this. Personally, excuse me, gee whiz. I kind of feel that the scope of the channel will have to encompass some of my greater interests, to be honest, outside of just being a practicer, because being fascinated in the world and the various mysteries and the discoveries of people, especially people who found ways to leverage natural forces just through shapes and the way things move, and just observing nature and then transferring that into technology. Right, Schauberger was watching the salmon fly up the stream. Okay, that's all good. All right, what else have we got here? Let's go to the Phil Rice YouTube channel, and let's go to the Martin Fox chat and see if there's any questions in there that were not answered in the chat. Okay. Oh, I want to do a shout out too. It's a good friend of mine, Ronan's birthday. Hello, happy birthday to Ronan. He owns the local organic food store and my family's mall, actually. Thank you, Ronan. Have a beautiful, wonderful birthday. And also, I want to say a big happy birthday to Fredo, Tom Frederick Bernard, who's the one tarot healer. He was on the podcast for a moment with Martin. It's his birthday today as well. Happy birthday, Fredo. Okay. There's a bit of there's a bit of talk in this one, isn't there? I think we pretty much covered most of it. There was a couple that apparently didn't get answered though. So I want to. Here we go. Ave Distra. I wonder if the Jesus prayer. We were talking about. So we were talking about the watching of rising and of thoughts, watching thoughts rise and fall away. Martin's got this very stern look on his face while I'm describing. Bless him, he's focusing on me. See if I'll get a different image there. There we go. That's a good one. Oh, maybe not. Keep playing with it. Okay. So, so he's basically, where is it? Oh, it changes the. Oh, okay. So okay. So I wonder if the Jesus prayer, Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me, a sinner, which otherwise sounds like it could be destructive to the mental health, is a Christian way of watching the stage. Interesting. I know what you're referring to, but I'm not sure. And I think what happens is that this is about acknowledgement and going, okay, I can see a thing. Is it a thing that's worthy of my attention and for me to cultivate, or is it something I'm better off to let go? And, obviously, I guess having your sins forgiven is somewhat translatable or analogous to releasing. And you're having a deity do that for you on your behalf. And so you're going to your deity, in this case it's Jesus, and Jesus is forgiving your sins and releasing. And I guess what you do in return, if I may put it like that, is that you commit devotion and fealty to that deity. And and please correct me if you think I'm missing the mark here, but that's just an initial sort of observation. Yeah, yeah. This gets brought up a bit about sex magic and things like that, because obviously Crowley popularized it. Some people are going to get into it. I heard Mark Rasmus talk about this. He gave a great sort of discourse on it, and that because I've looked at this as well, just quietly, because I'm just curious, like I'm like, what is this all about? Even though it might be like, oh my gosh, that's disgusting. It's like, well, actually, it's a sacred act. It's a natural, sacred thing, and it's really just about how you approach it. But these practices can own you as well. Um, Jeez. Okay. All right. So Will and Ave are having a little bit of a chat here. Yeah, food fasting is a really great thing to explore, guys, because fasting is how the body can really get to town and start cleaning house and because basically when you're constantly eating, and Matt and I talked about this, you're placing your body under a constant load. You're giving it a job to do to process the food. That's why, man, when you go to sleep at night, you don't want to have a big meal before you go to bed, because basically that rejuvenation that your body needs, that energy's, you're going to be sharing that with the digestion process, and so quitting smoking after fasting. That's interesting. Yeah, I've noticed, man, like when you go through when you're metabolizing basically toxicity and junk through fasting, in my experience, and what I've also heard, talk to friends in that, is that things will get released because the little things will be looking for things to eat. That's their job. And then they will go and they'll find those little things that have been sort of stacked away in the corners that are sitting there, and we don't want them. And when they munch on them, there can be a discharge that can then be it can be an astral discharge. We may have an emotional release, because for starters, we're obviously, a large part of us is water, and water is a storage medium, and it has memory. And so we're carrying a lot of stuff around. I've heard from friends who went and got the colonic irrigation at a pipe, put up their backside, and then got washed out, and a sizable amount of material comes out, and they just feel better. But yeah, I haven't had it myself, so I can't comment on it. Let's just have a look here. What's going on? Cool. Okay, let's keep moving. So, yeah, and I think too, like, seriously, guys, if you want to give up smoking or something, like, you see people wearing these, and people who wear beads get a lot of crap because, oh, you're one of them bead wearing mala posers. Okay, sure, yeah, that I am. I like, what happens? I wear these right around my little village, and people go, "What's that? That's an interesting necklace." And I say, "Well, it's actually a very functional tool, because what there are is there's 108 of these beads. Well, it's actually 109 with that one on the top there. And what you do is that you come up with a mantra, an affirmation. You want to change an aspect of your personality, or you want to change a proclivity or a habit. There's certain times of the day that are very conducive to arriving at that outcome that you desire. And one of the things you do is, before you go to bed, and first thing when you wake up in the morning, is you do a one set of the beads with your affirmation. You frame it in the first person, I. You frame it in the present tense, and in the first person, in the present tense, and in the positive. So, let's say, I am a non-drinker of coffee. If you want to go at coffee, I am a non-smoker. You don't say I don't smoke. You say I am this. I am. That old I am that I am that I am, and all that sort of thing, right? You are stating that you are this. And these are, man, I tell you what, you do a couple of weeks with your beads on something you want to change about yourself. You do it throughout the day a couple of times too, and it might take you 5 minutes. And you don't need to say it out loud. That's the thing, because you're changing a mental process. You don't need to actually verbalize it. Okay. These are really worth checking out. If you want to, like, this is great for your soul mirror work, man. If you're stressed out and, and you're trying to change natural, unconscious processes, you can leverage this. It's a very powerful tool. Prayer and fasting is big in most of the world's religions. Yes, a lot of Catholic YouTubers seem to be in the carnivore diet right now. Okay. Barden's system sounds about as complicated and legalistic as Catholicism to me. Okay. There's probably something worth mentioning about, and Bob from 60 Skills, I mean, I don't know a lot about Catholicism. I have a family member who's Catholic, and I hear a lot about the rituals and things, but Bob mentioned that essentially Catholicism could be very much likened to a form of ritual practice, because there's a lot of rituals. In fact, a lot of religions have a lot of rituals, and that's how you anchor yourself into the reservoir of power and of the egregor, if we look at it from a Hermetic, esoteric, occult point of view. And, Barden's work, if you read Initiation into Hermetics, it's a pretty austere document. It's kind of like, you do it like this, then this, then this, and observe this. It's very pointed. It's not a very soft and fluffy book. It's very much like, do this, and yeah, that's it. It's not trying to schmooze you. You might, and there's a lot of books, and credit where given where it's due, that are highly effective, and they, they're written in quite a fluffy style, and that is either going to serve us or it's not. Sometimes that information needs just to be clear, objective, with a clean signal, without kind of emotional cushioning. We just need to hear it straight, hear it blunt. We just want to get down to nuts and bolts. Okay, let's just carry on here. But yeah, it's definitely Barden's system is very, it's a collection of things. Like, he's put a lot into this book, right? There's a lot of information in this book. I didn't bring it out. There's another book that's quite similar in some ways. Yeah, it's feeling that purpose consistently enough. Yeah, hang on, where are we going here? Just making the most of occult human ability so you can help mankind as best you can, I guess. Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Like, I can't help but feel like, being a healer and, sort of representing Reiki, or just, I'm an energy healer. I mean, I'm a real practical person. If people weren't getting benefit from it, I wouldn't be doing it. Straight out of the gate, when I started doing this stuff, people were getting surprising outcomes. And all that did was nourish my curiosity and push me forward. And I must say, over the years, I've sort of gone through periods where I don't sort of do it as much. But, okay. So I'm just going to have to disappear for like about 3 minutes, guys. I will be back, and I'm going to leave a fresh meme up for you to explore. Oh, as soon as I figure it out. Back in a sec. Hang on. Oh, awesome. You guys are still here. Thank you. Thank you for sticking around. It's really fun. I really like this format, you know. You can just kind of just hang out and we can talk and yeah, just see what's happening, right? Okay. Let's go back to the YouTube. Okay. Now I think that's pretty much it with the talk with Martin. Let's see here. A sauna. Yeah, okay. Here, Abe's talking about feeling that purpose consistently enough to be able to stick to the practices. Yeah, this is a real challenge with Barden work, guys. You know, there's a lot to do. There's a lot of things. And like, you know, Bob from 60 Skills, 60 skills, 60 skills, and they're not overnight skills. Some of them will be a lot closer to the surface than others, because you've already been doing meditation. I find in my own experience that a lot of people that find Barden have already, they've been looking everywhere else. People might find it by accident, but a lot of people have been looking for a while. I have to say that I've been looking for years, and then I found Mark Rasmus, and yeah, I mean, he's the guy I found Barden through, and the way he explains it and teaches is closest to my heart, I have to say. And I'm also very blessed, actually. And I'm sort of befriended a couple of Mark's friends and students who live in New Zealand, and yeah, blessed, very blessed. One day I will get over to train with Mark. It'd be my great pleasure, and yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get him on the channel too. Wouldn't that be awesome? But yeah, keeping up practice, I mean, that's where you get the results. I mean, it's no different with guitar. You practice a little bit every day, things will start to emerge. I remember times when I've picked up the guitar after practicing something for a while, and then all of a sudden I'm just able to do it. And then I'm able to relax into what I'm doing. And then it becomes a natural expression. And then new layers and dimensions reveal themselves. And like I said, music's such a great sort of body of analogies to draw from, because there is just so much that relates to these practices. I just like understanding things. Yeah, that's it. I really like making sense of things. Like, why am I doing this? And some of the teachers will talk about this, you know, just telling the student to do something until something happens. That kind of almost sounds like he doesn't know what he's doing. You know, you can figure things can happen to you by accident, but the real quality teachers will be able to, well, they'll be honest with you anyway, at the least, and say, hey, look, this seems to produce this result. We're not sure why at this point, but we're figuring it out. But yeah. Yeah, so we did talk about saunas, and saunas are something I haven't really been into, but a few people around me are talking about them, so maybe we will. I'd love to know if Martin and Phil partook of the mRNA. Oh, that's a bit of a contentious topic, isn't it? Oh my gosh. It's the defining question of our age. I have to be mindful of sort of territory I wander into on this channel, because obviously YouTube has pretty strict sort of, they call them community standards. But given what's come to light recently in regards to lawsuits and things like that, we can sort of talk a little bit more openly. I've just got to be careful of certain words. Now, obviously, I can't speak for Mr. Folks, and people are quite within their rights to keep their medical personal situations to themselves. And so, yeah, back those years ago when people were asking you about, you know, your medical situation, I was quite surprised that was actually like, I mean, people like talking about how they're sick. And that's like, if you read Barden says, don't tell people when you're sick. You don't want to build up a feedback loop. But how am I going to answer this? For myself, I'm going to say, truthfully, with my hand on my heart, no, I did not. I'm looking at the camera. No, I did not get the thing. And that's all I'm going to say on that. Okay, sweet. Okay. Yeah, it's a bit of a blunt one. Yeah, I I have to say that sometimes I don't get to all the questions, guys. Sometimes they may not be relevant to the guest or to the conversation, and they may take us off the topic at hand. And so, and also if I think they're inappropriate or, just for the moment, but that's why I'm doing this thing here. I'm running through them. I'm having a very transparent, yeah, so you guys are starting to comment on that last thing. Yes. Okay. The magic fluid to end pandemia. Yes, it's I haven't heard that one, but yeah. I have my own opinions on that, and yeah, but not for this. There's been enough pain and division caused by all that whole conversation, and that's another conversation for another time. Okay, let's see here. Phil Rice, what about religions that ban music? Would you be spiritually harmed by cutting yourself off? Now, this is quite interesting for me, and I'm just going to sort of take this off the screen here. So I sort of stopped playing music back in when I got burnt out. I ran a large music teaching business here in my hometown. I've taught in 15 to 16 schools as a guitar teacher and music teacher at the same time, kind of. I was like an itinerant teacher. So I would come into the schools and I would teach there during the day or after school. And so I did that for about 8-9 years. I think I was in schools for about 6 or 7 years. And it was huge. And I ended up being an area manager, joining a franchise. It was a beautiful, beautiful franchise. I have to say, I'm often put off by that word, but this was a beautiful situation. Just the best people, really caring. And I ended up being an area manager. So I ended up setting up about 22 maybe local schools. I taught in most of them, and then I would set them up and then bring in new teachers and help them get them settled in. And yeah, we ended up setting a beautiful, and we had our own curriculum that we all put into and built, and it was all very well thought out. We had some amazing musicians, and it wasn't just guitarists. We had some of the best musicians in Auckland, actually, and some of them were quite famous, musicians here in New Zealand too. But what ended up happening is I noticed is that some of the teachers are starting to get burnt out, and I was the same. I have to say, in the last sort of few years, I sort of stopped playing guitar. I was in a band as well, and I was just getting burnt out because I'd come home, and I was teaching, at one point I was teaching about 170 kids a week. That's no small task, man. That's lots of people and personalities and parents. There's 2 parents, and then there's all the schools, and it's quite a lot of stuff to have on your mind. And I used to get wicked anxiety, and I was stressed out, and I was depressed as well. I hated answering the phone. I was thinking, oh no, what have I done now? Some parent's going to ring up and tell me that I made the kid cry, and I hated that sort of stuff. And I ended up getting really stressed out, and I wasn't very good at managing my my personal funds in those days either. I was just a free spirit. I'm still like that now, I guess, as far as being a free spirit goes. But I set myself up to get burnt out. And I was also playing a lot of music because I was a rock and blues muso primarily, and a pop muso too, popular music. I found that I found out that it just started to rub me up the wrong way. All this music that I used to love playing, if I sit down and play those old songs, I stop. One of my teachers said to me, says, bro, what you want to do? Go and do one of those things you used to enjoy now that you're a stillness practitioner, so you know what the stillness is. Go and do one of those old things, do it for 20 minutes, and then go find somewhere and sit quietly and notice how you feel. And some things may bring on the stillness, and some things just get me, they don't. And playing those old songs didn't do that, and some of those songs are attached to certain egregores and group consciousnesses and ways of being that, I don't know, they're not messages that I want to continue to put out. Anyway, I just stopped playing guitar. There's, and I don't really listen to sort of radio music anymore. I don't actually like listening to vocal music, words with songs with words. I like listening to very nice gentle sort of interesting emotional harp music and soft flute musics and things like that, because I'm a stillness practitioner. So I'm trying to deepen that, but I've still got to be of the world, right? I'm in the world and I've got to function, and you can't get away from it. Music's everywhere. I mean, it's fun to go down memory lane too sometimes. And I like to see sometimes, like, because I used to be a bit of a, like I said, a bit of a rock muso, I like to see what's happening in the world of rock, because for a while there it was pretty dead. It didn't really have, like, because I was a lead guitarist as well. I really love ripping it up and shredding, and blues shredder, I guess. But I loved cool guitar music, and there was a bit of a empty space in the mainstream for a while. But Nuno Betancourt from Extreme, the Extreme dropped a new album recently, and man, that cat can play. So that was really lovely to visit that. But I can listen to it for a bit, just like I can pick my guitar up for a bit, and then I just have to put it down. And I just want to say, sorry, I haven't been very forthcoming. I promised you guys a song, didn't I? I have been working on it. I want it to be born of conviction, not of a forced nature. This is it. When it comes to music for me, it's challenging, but I'm doing it because I said I would. The song is in process. I have written it largely. I found a nice couple of hooks and some beautiful chords. I'm going to take that song that I played on that short video, and I found some nice ways to fatten it out and add some more depth to it, because it's a genuine song and it's an original song. And I have to say, moving forward, original music is really where it's at. Like I've said before, if we are truly the creation of a creator, then it seems to me that is part of our job, or it would be it seems that we are here to continue that process. That's what I'm saying. So religions that ban music, I would say that there is definitely a good reason for that, because when you become sensitive to things, you can start building bridges. Like I've heard, and I won't go into that, but yeah, thank you, Mark. That's a valuable point. When you join in with an egregore, it can take a while before you can get loose of the thing too. And some of them will be kicking and screaming, and they won't like it. I've been through a couple, and get ready for the ride, because letting go of some things, you got to that's why separating your dwelling in this body here, in your mental body or in your spirit, rather than getting pulled around by an untamed astral body. Your untamed astral body is just going to cause you no end of problems, guys. As soon as you can learn how to occupy and dwell in this room and get clean separation, that's why we learn the 3 transformations. There's a free course on Perseus Arcane Academy on the 3 transformations. If anyone wants to find that and throw that in the chat, I'll pot it up. But that exercise of learning how to separate, so you can just occupy in here, and you can see that your astral body's having a tantrum or a hissy fit, or it's whatever, and you can just sit there and go, oh, there's this thing happening, but I'm just watching it happen. Just like if you smack your hand and you're like, you get caught up in that feeling, or you can just observe it and go, well, my hand is in pain. So there's strategies for dealing with things, but yeah, music's very powerful because we get hooked into it, like literally. We have a deep personal connection to it, and so that can form a bridge. And so essentially we're cutting ties with a lot of things. And then what we can do is that we can reestablish connection, but we have more say about how that connection is formed. And that's why, as hermeticists or practitioners, we are very mindful of the information that we choose to expose ourselves with, to the information we connect with and interact with and we engage with. Because once it's like this, when I first I went full on when I first went vegan back in the day, I lasted about 3 months, and then I missed ice cream too much. But I had a break from dairy and like lots of sugary stuff, and then I went back to it, and then I noticed how it made me feel. I was like, oh man, I can't do this anymore. And it was the dairy. I started packing on all this weight again. It didn't matter if I had this much ice cream or this much ice cream, because I loved ice cream. I would just start packing on all this weight. And it was just the presence of the stuff, but I also didn't feel good. But I had to have that break to resensitize to it, because a lot of these food choices and things, they numb us to the effects of them. We're numbing down our system. So as we become more in tune with subtlety and nuance in our lives, then you know, we become hypersensitive, and some things we just can't go back to. And that, for me, that has been music. So I'm I know it's been a few weeks. The song is coming, and I want it to be genuine. I don't want it to be a manufactured assembly line song. I want it to be something that's a true, sincere thank you to you guys. And I'm pushing myself to do this, and because I want to reestablish my connection with music as in a functional form. I'm not sure how yet, but I'm going to start here because this is something I can do as a big thank you for you guys for being such wonderful audience and participants and contributors to this conversation and to this channel. And yeah, so yes, thank you. I appreciate that. I tell you what, Himashaiva, I taught a lot of challenging situations and people. I prided myself on being able to teach challenging people to be able to do just to have a sense of achievement with a musical instrument to produce a pleasing sound. And I have to say, the doorway to that is by teaching them to listen, pay attention, to become more aware of what they're doing, you know. And that just goes across in all areas of life, in my view. Your food choices, the people you hang out with, how does that contribute to what you're experiencing? I will share one of my original songs in your Telegram now. Oh, thank you, Heather, please. Yeah, this is a good point, Mark. Yeah, thank you. I just went cold turkey and then reintroduced things to myself slowly, like I do with my food. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I think radical cleansing and purification and cutting those cords, some religions demand that, and they will help you manage the fallout from that. It's just how you want to play it. If you want to join a certain group or a tradition, they're going to have a set of rules. And if you're going to go hang out in their house, it's their rules, you know, and there may be gentler ways of coming to the same result. But yeah, you know, it's just, you know, I think it is extremism, absolutely. But it's not necessarily saying that extremism is a negative term. It's just, it is what it is. It's like, yep, cold turkey, cold turkey, cold turkey. I mean, if you know, if you're a drug addict and a alcohol addict or a sex addict or a this addict or a, you know, you're a mean person who delights in the and delivering cruelty to others or anything like that, and you go into a situation that, you know, basically says you can't do that, and you've signed up, and you know, yeah, yeah. These are, yeah, this is why we just, you know, becoming mindful of the things that we do helps us to create, there's me, and then there's this thing, and then there's my relationship to the thing. See, it's not the thing that's the problem, it's your relationship to it, you know? And this just becomes more real to me every year, every day, every hour of like going, you know, because I still catch myself. You know, I used to be a real grumpy, moody bugger. You know, I was still a nice guy and a good guy and all that. But man, I was overweight and I wasn't looking after myself, and I was not very nice to people as well because I was hanging out with people that weren't very nice to people. So I just sort of thought, oh, I was the young, impressionable guy in the group. So I just thought, oh, this is how you deal with people. Well, that didn't work out well. Free to let me know. Good topics. I need more details, Mark. Like I said, you know, the people I bring on to the YouTube channel are creatives or creators. So if you are a creator and you have something you'd like to share, please. If you have something that you'd like to share with the audience, please send it through. Just happy to talk about it. But you know, just flick me a message, or you know, you can email me info@philrice.co.nz. Always happy just to hear what's happening. Always it's good to explore new topics. I know there'll be some people in this chat who would be interested in anthroposophy as well. So we could, you know, do a thing on anthroposophy at some point. I know it's quite a big topic, but yeah. Most welcome. Yeah. So your mind is everything, and we have to be mindful, essentially, of what we. There's a great quote: "Man has a responsibility for the thoughts that he chooses to entertain." Think about that one. Man has a responsibility for the thoughts that he chooses to entertain, and oh wow, okay. Oh, you've got a show. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So what I'm doing is like saying, look, I really want to encourage people, especially people in the Barden field or who are practices of some form or another, to start putting yourself out there. Okay. Let's bring some harmony into the world. Everyone's on YouTube, man. There's something like 2 billion people logging into YouTube every day. It's really fun too to learn how to do video production and editing and get online and get confident with public speaking. This is what really helps things out, guys. So that's just kind of the one thing I have is that the people that I bring on are either bloggers or on YouTube, or they're teachers and authors and course creators. That's it. I could bring on lots of people who just want to talk about stuff, but I've set this one thing. I'm saying I will bring on people who are actively out there creating, and at this point, and that's where I'll just leave that there. The universe is mental. My universe is my mental, and yours is yours, and ours is ours. Yes. So the universe is mental because that's essentially the worldview of the Hermeticists. So that's where I'm coming from. I think the Buddhists sort of follow that same as well. It's just like there's a common underlying denominator or substrate that everything sort of it goes up from there. And that's why I really like this idea of a universal kind of religion, because my understanding is that there is a base reality. Whether or not we can perceive it, it's a whole other story. That's part of the journey. But there is lawfulness to this universe. This law, God is law. The law is God. These types of things. And can these things be tangibly verified? Okay. So thank you, everyone. Now, what else have we got here? We've done quite a bit, haven't we? Now, I did put in there that I would be doing a meditation. And so what I'm going to do is for those of you that would like to stick around for about 10 minutes, I'm going to take you through a very simple guided meditation, which is what we've already talked about. And I'm going to give you basically a running narrative. And so all you have to do is get comfy. Okay. Now, if you've got to head off, or if you don't want to do the meditation, I want to say thank you so much for joining me here today. And I hope you enjoyed this kind of podcast. This is something a bit different for me. And I know I kind of did one a little while ago. That was a bit of an update, but I'm going to be doing more of this kind of just me stuff because I love having guests on, but I'm more of a host than some of them I can have a discussion with. But in a lot of cases, I'm presenting other people and just being a talk show host in some ways. But yes, I certainly have many things I'd like to share. And I'm not going to say that I was hiding behind guests and things like that, but you can get caught up in that whole thing of just booking people, and then people want to hit you up and they want to book you and it's all this booking, and it's like, it's great. And I really appreciate it and all that. But yeah, it's important that we put ourselves out there too, because we can discover things about ourselves, and interacting with people like on here is just really a lot of fun. And I just want to say thank you everyone for just prior. Why is that not working? Oh, things have stopped working. Okay, well, we'll just leave that there then. Yeah, so I just want to say thank you to everyone who's contributed, liked, shared, subscribed. Maybe you've joined the membership on YouTube, or signed up for my Substack, or you've bought a super chat, all of these things are very, very helpful and appreciated. And like I said, essentially, they just mean that if I've got more time in the day, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm self-employed, I can do more of this type of thing and share these things and bring more stuff forward. And yeah, so I just want to say thank you. Okay, let's get comfy. So okay, that was really strange. Can you let me know in the chat if I'm back? I presume so. The software just died for a moment. And I don't think I have a limit on here. Let's just see. Let's double check. Nope. Nope, she's all good. Okay, all right. Let's do a meditation together. So the idea is like I said, what I'm going to share with you is something that once you understand what's going on, you can pass this along to people. Because essentially, if they can free themselves from from thoughts that are unhelpful, because thoughts trigger an emotion and then an action type of thing, thought, feeling, and action. We want to bring these things into alignment. So it starts here. It's not we instantly attach to something and then create a problematic creation cycle of emotions, highly charged emotions, reacting to things. It's about becoming more responsive than reactive, if you know what I mean. We want to be able to choose how we express ourselves into the world. And one of those things we've got to do is free ourselves from this magnetizing of the thoughts. So so humans have roughly 40 to 60,000 thoughts throughout the course of a day. That's a couple, right? And they've got a close orbit around your head. And as soon as you see one of these things and think about it, zap, it's there, and you have a reaction to it, and it creates a cycle, and then you might have some kind of reaction to it. And so what we want to do is that by learning to observe the mental space, these thoughts get further afield, because basically we're noticing that there's a gap, and we can stretch that gap out, because rather than just paying attention to all these things that are almost like overwhelming us or all around us, and just like, it's like the junk. If you think about all the junk that's orbiting the Earth from all the satellites and that, basically you pay attention to the space or just the general landscape, and then the orbit will increase essentially to the point where you'll be able to see these things and you'll be able to choose the ones that you interact with. Okay, so get comfy, guys. Close your eyes. Let's take a few deep breaths together. Now, I'd like to encourage you to, if you don't already, nose breathing in and out through the nose. Easy peasy. Put your tongue on the roof of your mouth, just behind your top two teeth. Okay, close your mouth. And let's just take a few deep breaths together. Let's breathe in, right down to the tummy, feeling your tummy expand and your rib cage opening up, feeling big, feeling your spacious forehead. Relaxed and release. Tummy collapsing, leaning in a little bit. you don't have to do a posture for this. If you're laying down, perfect. Breathing in. Tummy expanding, rib cage opening up. Feeling a bit taller. Hold it. And release. Collapse, collapse, collapse. Breathing in. Tummy expanding, rib cage opening up. Hold it. And release. Just let your breath normalize. Carry on breathing in and out through your nose. And just follow the breath moving in and out of your nose. Feeling the cool air on your nostrils as you breathe in. And then the warm air as you breathe out. Or just focus on the tip of your nose, watching the breath move in and out. Okay. Your eyes are closed. You're sitting on a very comfy chair, like a lounge chair. And there's a stage in front of you. And on this, there's these things climbing up onto the stage. They're all sorts of random, weird things. But they're just things. You're seeing these things. And they're climbing up onto the stage, and then they're getting off the stage. They get up on the stage, they do a little dance, and then they get off the stage. And you're just watching this process of these things. You're not really sort of paying too much attention to the specifics. You're just watching this kind of procession of things happening. You know, you see a tricycle get up on the stage and then get off the stage. You see that sandwich you had for lunch get up on the stage and get off the stage. You think about the feeling of how that sandwich made you feel. You bit into a bit of gristle, or there was a pickle in it and it was quite pickly. And you notice that feeling, it gets up on the stage and then it wanders off. Maybe you're feeling hungry right now. You're just observing the hunger. The hunger's on the stage. It's hanging around on the stage, but you're still just observing it. You're not sort of getting caught up in it. You're just watching it. Oh yeah. And you're objectively thinking to yourself, oh yeah, I'm feeling my astral body is having this response, or it's doing this thing. My mind is seeing these thoughts. You're watching thoughts arise out of the mind stuff. You're watching feelings arise. Maybe you're hearing a song. The song you're hearing gets up on the stage and exits the stage. Another song gets up on the stage and it's catchy and you're like, oh yeah, that brings back that memory. And then all of a sudden you start thinking about the song and then wait a minute, you find that you're up out of your chair and you're moving towards the stage. So, oh, that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just supposed to be watching. I'm just sort of taking an interest in what my mind is coming up with. I'm watching me TV. I'm just curious about what my mind gets up to. You're just basically watching a movie of what your mind produces. So you sit back down in the chair and get comfy and you feel yourself recede into the chair. And there's so much better to sit down. When I'm up on the chair engaging it, I start feeling tired because it takes energy to do that. Even though it might be an exciting thing, the purpose of the exercise is to sit in the chair and just watch. And you may even notice that the stage moves back a little bit, and there's a bit of a space between your feet and the front of the stage. And there's an empty space there, and so you become aware of there's you, there's the stage, and then there's a space between you and the stage. And then all around the stage and behind you is the space. And you're just this kind of watcher, observing this experience going, and all these things that just pop up, these random things. You may have an unpleasant thought, but you're just going to watch it. You're not going to push it off the stage. You're just going to let it do its little dance and that. It's just a thing that's happening. Maybe there's a smell. Okay, now we're getting into the sense gates, right? The hearing, the smelling, the tasting. And you're just observing. And then you're observing how you respond to it or how you react. Now, if you can look at that thing without having a response or without having a reaction, you're doing very well. And that's what we're aiming for here. We want to be able to experience information, data points, whether that's something that our mind produces or something that we experience from the external environment, and just go, okay, yes, I acknowledge there's a thing there, but you're not getting caught up in it. You know, you're not getting set off or wound up or getting angry or anything. You know, you're just like, there's a thing. And you're just watching in the chair and you feel yourself getting caught up in that idea of like going down to the park because you see a dog. So, oh, I'm going to go see some dogs. It's like, wait a minute. I'm up out of the chair again. Sit down. Recede back in. The immortal spirit lives in this little house called the mental body. And he's just sitting in the background, watching. That's all he's doing. Let's take some more breaths. Breathing in through the nose. Feeling the tummy expand, rib cage opening up. Nice, spacious, relaxed forehead. Bit of a smile. And then release. Breathing in. Holding it. And release. Last one. Breathing in. Holding it. And release. Wonderful. Okay, welcome back. You can open your eyes. Lovely to see you again. I just want to say on the topic of nose breathing, if you haven't explored this, there's two ways you can, well, there's three ways technically, because you can paw breathe as well, but we'll just stick to normal pulmonary breathing. When you breathe in through the mouth, you can take in larger volumes, but you bypass a special function in your nasal cavity. Now, the other thing is that when you breathe out through the mouth, you're releasing larger volumes of air with moisture. You can dehydrate yourself. If you breathe in through the nose, the air passes through into the nasal cavity. There's a chemical reaction that takes place. It changes it. It then bypasses the mouth. It goes down into the lungs. And essentially, it's easier for the lungs to absorb the oxygen out of the air because you've taken it in through this chemical process that happens through the nasal breathing process. And you basically get more bang for buck, because if you're breathing through the mouth, you're going to be breathing larger volumes, which requires more muscle effort, and you could tire yourself out. So, energy at the end of the day is a real currency. And so you can get, like I said, better value from nose breathing, because you only need to breathe this much to get what you need to get from this much mouth breathing. And it's also the quality of the experience too. Like, you'll also, if you've been practicing for a bit, you'll also notice that you can start to feel that place just behind the back of your throat. That I guess we could call it the pineal. It's one of the glands there. I'm not going to get specific about which one it is. I'm just going to say there's a place there, and you'll find that will become your tuning fork for picking up on various flavors of energy. Okay. Now this needs a little bit more elaboration. I think I'll save that for another one once I've had a bit more time to think about how to verbalize that. But essentially, when you're training your mental body to pick up on frequencies that you want to flood the body with or flavor your astral field with, there's a receiver there or a thing. You know how, like in actually, I'll bring up a perfect example of this. Actually, I've got the perfect example. So let's go here. I'll just do a new one. You'll get this once you see what I'm about to show you. You'll be okay. So those of you who have ever used Microsoft Word or a word processor. Okay, so let's share the screen. This will be valuable. So thank you for those sticking around. Window, here we go here. So here's a Word document. This is on my Mac, so it's called Pages, which is way cheaper and you get to keep it. And it's also really awesome. Basically, if you want to, you can choose the color palette here. Oh, it's not coming up. Why is it not coming up? That is strange. I'm very curious. I'll see if I can do it like this. window, entire screen. All right. Bear with me, guys. Thank you for your patience. This will be worth it. Okay, here we go. So basically, those of you who know about the color palette here, there's this little thing called the eyedropper. And what you can do is that you can, so watch this little color down here. It's black at the moment. I'm going to go and pick another color. What do you know? Now it's that color. If I click it again and I go over to something else, now it's that. There's a part of your spirit that is able to detect things. And then essentially that is a qualitative type of receiving tuning fork. And that is just a rough analogy of like in a virtual, analog sense. And so when you're breathing, you'll start to sometimes notice there'll be a cool sensation on the back of your throat. Now, that can extend even further back, and you start awakening awareness of this little part of yourself that's sort of in the center of your skull. And so this is worth exploring. And so what you can do is that when you're breathing that, you can start thinking about heat and cool. And you're just tuning into those qualitative aspects. Now, now you can take it to the next level. So you remember how I said breathing in the air through the apertures of the nostrils, which are very sensitive. And this can take a little bit of work because you're training sensitivity. Warm air in, cool air in, warm air out. So you're breathing, you've got, these things are very close. And so you can tune this little receptacle, tuning fork, eyedropper, using the hot and the cold of this very subtle thing, because they're in close proximity. They're both very, very subtle and nuanced. And so they work together very nicely for this. And it's like breathing is a two-part thing. There is volumes of air shifting, but then there's also this kind of like, it's like when you smell something, you don't need to take large whiffs of it in to smell it. You only need a little bit. And the better you get at just being able to do it very subtly, you'll start to notice some other benefits, especially if you're early on in the book and you've started doing element breathing, things like that. So, yeah. And yes, beautiful. Breathing is a very wide and very important topic to learn and master. It is. It really is. So breathing can yoke energy, especially the astral energy. We use breathing. So breathing is generally an autonomic function. We don't have to think about breathing. We do it anyway, just like our heart pumps by itself. But the breath we can take control over. And as we move through the book, there's other functions that we can take over, and we can utilize them and find ways to leverage them to awaken greater capacities for awareness within ourselves. Thank you, everybody. This has been absolutely wonderful. I'm so grateful for everyone who's joined us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I'm going to say that I will definitely be doing more of these. And I'm grateful for all the wonderful comments and feedbacks after the chats, during the live streams. It's so nice. I miss having, I guess, because I had a channel many, many, many years ago. And I've missed having, such a wonderfully thoughtful and intelligent sort of, and global audience too. Okay, any flat earthers, now's your time to pipe up. So what I'm going to say to everyone is thank you. I hope you've enjoyed this format. I'm going to play around with it some more. I'm probably going to do more regular live streams. Please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing to the channel. Please go to Violet Flame Studios and check out their awesome website and sign up for their subscription, because they have got some incredibly exciting things happening there. Please consider supporting this channel, liking, subscribing, sharing, signing up for a monthly membership, or going to my Substack. Substack's better, but YouTube will probably give you some extra perks that Substack won't. Just depends, like either way, it's supportive, and I'm very grateful. And thank you to the people that used the super chat function today and donated some cash. It's very wonderful, very kind of you. I'm very grateful. And yeah, I just really don't know what else to say except this. Nope, down here. Nope, over here. This one here. Thank you. You guys are wonderful. And I'll just check these comments quickly. Best wishes from Germany. Auf Wiedersehen. Thank you, Doug. And thank you, Nostalgia. And thank you to everyone else in the chat. I will see you guys again very soon. Stay well.